Hello and welcome to Sports Fan Entertainment. The 2020 NFL Draft is now past us, and it is time to recap the Tennessee Titans 2020 NFL Draft. And this was an interesting draft for us, but at the same time, I guess kind of standard. The most interesting part of it was that we were picking at the end of the first round, that we actually had made the playoffs, and not only made the playoffs, but we're deep into the playoffs. And instead of us having to look at the most heralded prospects like in years past, or even prospects in the middle of the draft, like a lot of years in the Jeff Fisher era, we had to think about trading out of the first round potentially, looking at fringe prospects, and it's always hard to identify who your team is going to take at the end of the first round. I mean, that is one of the most difficult things you can do, because whereas we can sit here and say, you know what, we view this guy like a Christian Fulton as an end of the first round guy, a lot of teams in the NFL didn't. And he ended up going into the second round. Last year, I thought A.J. Brown was a first round guy, even middle of the first round guy. He didn't go until like pretty much mid to late second last year with the 52nd pick. So when you get in this range of picks where hopefully we're going to be picking for quite some time, it's going to be harder and harder to identify who the hell we're going to take. So taking Isaiah Wilson the first round, let's go ahead and start there. First of all, I'm not sure if you guys saw this on the draft. I mean, I was too focused on the pick at the time, but I think this is his girlfriend that was trying to hug him, and the mama pulled the girlfriend off of the camera. I mean, so first of all, sign Isaiah Wilson and sign his mama too, because we could use a right guard next to Isaiah Wilson if Nate Davis don't work out. Go ahead and get Isaiah Wilson's mama to fill in at right guard and get everyone off of Isaiah Wilson. So Isaiah Wilson, the offensive tackle out of Georgia, this man is standing at 6'6", almost 6'7", 350 pounds. The guy is absolutely huge. Let's look at some tape here. What you're going to notice is him in the run game just mauling people over. That is his move. They brought this guy in to be a pinnacle in the run game to help out Nate Davis on that right side to open up holes for Derrick Henry, and now also Darington Evans, who we will get into in a moment. He's right there on the right side, number 79. You're going to see him play after play, take it to the opposing lineman, assuming it's a run play. That was a pass protection play right there, but the one thing that does concern me in terms of his pass protection is definitely whenever he gets off the line of scrimmage, right? So he initially has that burst backwards like every single offensive lineman does, but when he initiates contact, or when the defensive lineman initiates contact with him, he tends to give up a little bit too much ground for me, and I have a couple plays displaying that on this next series of plays. So let's look at the couple plays here with him in pass protection. This guy is 6'6", 350, right? He gives up a lot of ground for a guy that's 6'6", 350. Now, on that first play right there, and let's go ahead and restart it. On this first play right here, right, this defensive lineman, this edge rusher, he's trying to go outside. He's trying to... Oh, sorry, actually, that play did not restart. Let me add it to restart whenever that source becomes active. But on the first play, on this specific media, let me restart that. This defensive lineman is trying to go outside. He's trying to go outside, and he gives up a little too much room for me, lets the edge rusher get a little too much ground, but ultimately doesn't suffer a sack, doesn't do too poorly there. I can live with that. But for a guy that's 6'6", 350, you would think he'd stand his ground a little bit better in terms of, being able to be stronger at the line of scrimmage. That's one thing that I do think is actually concerning for him. And when you go up against like nimble guys that are also strong, like a Von Miller, they can not only get around you, but they can also push you. And you need to be able to combat both of those type of play styles. But there on the second play, again, gives us some ground, but is able to hold his own for the most part. So it's just some pros and cons. You see him in pass protection, but then right there, he got absolutely bull rushed. There was not ready for it on the inside rush. He does struggle with inside rushes. So although he has the good footwork to deal with outside linebackers that try to go outside of him, he can contain them for the most part. Here's another play of that. Whenever they sneak inside, whenever they try to do a bull rush inside, they can't sneak up on him. They can't end up disrupting the play, and that ended up in the interception that you guys saw displayed there. So Just some things to think about here, but I honestly think overall, Isaiah Wilson was a little underrated, right? When we took him, a lot of people were talking about, but this was such an overreach for the Tennessee Titans. They reached for Isaiah Wilson, but the more tape I watched, the guy's pretty solid. I didn't see him really let up many sacks at all. It's just a question of how he's going to translate at the next level. Now, some people think, can he play guard? Is guard potentially in his future? I don't think so because he's just so huge, man. He's 6'7". Almost 6'7". He's like 6'6" and a half, right? 6'6" and a half, 6'7", 350 pounds. I could not find one guard in NFL history like that. I could not find it. The closest I could find was Robert Gallery, who was 6'7", 330. I think Jeff Schwartz was 6'6", 335. I just don't see it. If Nate Davis really doesn't work out at guard, could they put him at right guard? Could they put Wilson at right guard? And could they put Dennis Kelly at right tackle? I guess, but I don't know. I think footwork-wise, I think he can do it. But again, he does struggle with the inside rush, and there's another play of that to where I just don't know if that would work. I think he'd have some issues getting low and facing those interior defensive linemen. So I wouldn't bet on him playing guard. I think they brought him in to play right tackle, and I think he's ultimately going to be a good right tackle for us. So ultimately, I give the grade for Isaiah Wilson a B. I probably still wouldn't have done it. I understand why they did it. In terms of alternative options, I still think some of the prospects were better, like a Josh Jones who ended up going, I think, in the 3rd round, actually, which is surprising to me, and maybe even an Ezra Cleveland, so I think there are actually better right tackles available. But they got a right tackle, and I still don't like the fact that they paid Dennis Kelly $7 million a year to once again be a backup tackle. That really doesn't make sense to me, but in the meantime, I do think Isaiah Wilson is going to start at right tackle. And then 4 or 5 years down the road will be good enough to earn an extension. I don't know, because Jack Conklin didn't. Maybe because he outpriced himself, right? In terms of, it's not like he played poorly. He just outpriced himself for us. So what's going to be the story for Isaiah Wilson? I think in 4 years we're going to want to re-sign him and he's going to be a long-term right tackle for us. But after Jack Conklin, dude, I don't know. Maybe John Robinson's move is every 4 years I'm drafting a new right tackle. Maybe that's his move. We're going to find out. So with that, we move on to the next pick, which is Christian Fulton. And I already discussed Christian Fulton in pretty decent length in my previous video 2 days ago. So really go to that video where I have some tape already pulled up, and you can look at that video and get my thoughts on that. But just real quickly, I can reiterate some stuff. I really do love the pick. If you would have told me we took Christian Fulton in the 1st round at number 29, I was going to be all on board for it. This guy had one of the best coverage statistics and analytics over the past 2 seasons in college football. You put him outside, I think he allows like a 30% completion rate against him. Not many touchdowns, if at all. Plenty of passes defended. The one thing for me that I don't like the fact that he only has 2 interceptions over the past 2 seasons. And Mike Vrabel went on the record in his press conference and he said, well, that has a lot to do with LSU and the system in which they play. I didn't really see that on tape. To a certain extent, like they play a lot of off coverage, especially Christian Fulton played a lot of off coverage, right? Being off like 10 yards and then having to break on balls. But I saw him, specifically himself, and his mentality was a lot of times, I'm just going to bat this ball away instead of actually trying to catch the thing. I don't think he has particularly good ball skills at all. Okay, I think he has kind of rocks for hands. He just bats stuff everywhere, which is good, right? It's going to, stop the play. It's going to be a stop play. It's going to be an incomplete pass. But we could use some interceptions. So this is where I slow some people's roll when they say, oh, we got a Pro Bowl corner. Christian Fulton is going to be a Pro Bowl corner. Like, I'd love to see it. I think he's going to be a very good coverage corner, which is what we need right now. I don't know if we need a Pro Bowl corner. I'd love to have one, don't get me wrong. But really, we just need another good cover corner, right? Opposite of Adoree Jackson. So this could be our new duo, right? Because Adoree Jackson, he has his 5th-year option coming up. I expect it to be picked up, and then hopefully he can earn that contract extension. And then you'll be looking at Adoree Jackson and Christian Fulton for years to come. And Christian Fulton has decent size, decent length on him. So he's a nice compliment for Adoree Jackson. Hopefully, that will be the duo for years to come. So now we move on to Darington Evans. And here's my thing with running backs. I am very, very, very critical of running backs coming out of the draft. Extremely critical. I need to see some pop, some pizzazz, some spectacular stuff. Like, I need to see some stuff, especially for a guy like Darington Evans, who's coming out of Appalachian State, where you question the level of play that they go up against. Now, they actually played some good teams this year, and they beat some good teams. Like, they beat South Carolina. I'm pretty sure they beat North Carolina. That game was really close. I didn't see what the final score was when I was watching the tape. So they actually played some good teams, and Darren Everson actually played well. So let's look at some highlights for Darington Evans. Now, this is a play where great awareness by him, noticing the ball was literally on the ground by the quarterback, picking it up and then bursting. And then this is the thing with Darington Evans. You have to get him out into space. That is where he really excels. His straight line speed is where it is at. He ran, a 4.49, I want to say, maybe a 4.48, actually, in the 40-yard dash in the combine. He is so hard to catch up to. If you don't have an angle on him, you are screwed in the open field. That's the thing when it comes to Darington Evans. Now, you look at this next play. That's just a throwaway play. And then the play after this, okay? Darington Evans, look at that spin move to the left side, gets outside again, and then is able to make some ground and some play there. This is where Darington Evans really succeeds. On the outside, running a lot of outside zones. Inside, he's not that impressive. Now, I think I have a play on the next series of highlights I'm going to show you where he actually has a decent inside run. But I saw a lot of plays where he got stuffed at the line of scrimmage. Here's a decent inside run by Darington Evans where he got stuffed at the line of scrimmage or behind the line of scrimmage. Can't really move the pile. He's going to get what yards he can. But I just didn't see the pop that I wanted to see in terms of the inside game. But the more frustrating thing to me, as he does catch a pass there out of the backfield, but I really wanted a true receiving back with this pick. And someone in the chat said, actually, that Evans ran a 4.41 in the 40-yard dash. So thank you for correcting me there. 4.41 for Darington Evans in the 40-yard dash. But the one thing I really thought that we needed, I think we could all agree on this, we really needed a true receiving back out of this draft. Now, Darington Evans is an primarily outside zone runner, right? And he's going to make plays there. And it's a decent compliment to Derrick Henry, but I'm not even sure if it's a compliment, actually. I think even saying it's a compliment is a stretch because Derrick Henry is a good outside zone rusher, right? I mean, how many times do we see Derrick Henry bounce it outside, bounce it off the left side, off Taylor Lewan, or bounce it off the right side for Jack Conklin for 70, 80 yards? Derrick Henry's already good enough outside running back. What we really needed was a running back that could run a curl. What we needed was a running back that could run an angle. What we really needed was a running back that could run a comeback, that could do a halfback wheel, right? We don't have that type of running back. And Darington Evans, I only see, I think, 19 or 21. Let me pull up his stats. Only 21 receptions for Darington Evans in the 2019 season for 198 yards. That's 9.4 yards a catch. He had 5 receiving touchdowns with that. But that's hardly anything. And then the year before, 12 receptions for 87 yards. His whole collegiate career, only 319 receiving yards. He is not a proven receiving back yet. I didn't see him, have one impressive halfback wheel route, one impressive halfback angle route, one impressive comeback or curl or anything that would excite me in and out from a running back position, which I think we sorely need, right? That's what we wanted out of Dion Lewis. That's what he showed us a little bit at times. But not really. So the thing with Darington Evans, look, when you put him out there and you get him in space, and here are some more highlights. You get him in space, you get him on the outside, like he can do some things for you. He has some toughness, he can keep his legs under him. But when we talk about Derrick Henry, a guy that you want to get in rhythm, okay, a guy that you plan to give plenty of carries in every single football game, at least 18 carries, but ideally over 20, 25 carries a game. Where exactly does Darington Evans fit into that picture? Is he just a guy that just comes in just to take some snaps away? And this is one great part about Darington Evans, beating this cornerback there. That was a nice move. But I don't see the pizzazz that I really want to see from a running back out of the draft because there are just so many running backs in the draft that do stuff like this on a week-to-week basis. We all remember Bishop Sankey. I mean, how good did Bishop Sankey look at University of Washington, right? His highlights looked just as good as this to me. I mean, and even David Cobb, right? So what particular thing are you bringing to the table? That's why I think we should have defaulted to finding, at the very least, a running back that we knew could catch the ball out of the backfield consistently, can run routes consistently. Because if you're bringing me this, it looks all right. Don't get me wrong. This is not bad tape that we're seeing. He's hitting the holes. He's having decent agility, decent burst. We know it's 4.4, 140-yard dash. But it just doesn't look that special to me. So I'm wondering, where does he fit into the Derrick Henry picture, right? When Derrick Henry is your franchise running back guy, where does he fit in that picture? And then let's say Derrick Henry isn't your franchise running back guy. Okay, then is this going to be the guy that is going to put you, that's going to be the next running back for the Tennessee Titans? Is this a guy that's going to help Ryan Tannehill and take the pressure off Ryan Tannehill? I don't quite see it. He definitely did help lead Appalachian State to the strong record that they had in 2019, but I just wish I would have saw a little bit more. But it does make sense, though, overall, when you consider the fact that this was the end of the third round. So this is essentially a fourth-round pick. So you're not going to find many explosive running backs in the third round at this point. So I understand that. But I think people are getting a little ahead of themselves when they start lofting this Darington Evans pick. I like the pick. I think he's going to come in and do some things, and he's going to actually be able to make an impact on the run game. Okay, I'm sorry, in the receiving game, in the return game. I think that's where he could actually really make an impact for us. But if we're really expecting this to be a new running back duo with Derrick Henry and Darington Evans, I'm not buying that. I expect like 300 rushing yards from Darington Evans this year at most, maybe 400 max, but that's at the absolute max. And if Derrick Henry gets injured, then maybe a little bit more, but that's about it. And then we'll see for years to come. So with that said, let's move on to the next pick, the fifth-round pick. And that was Larell Murchison. Luttrell Murchison. Larell, not Luttrell. Larell Murchison, the defensive tackle out of NC State. Now, this one is particularly interesting, especially when you look at this graphic that I'm about to show you. So we have Jurrell Casey here. Jurrell Casey, his combine stats, he had a 5.0640, he had 26 bench press reps, a 28 essentially, a vertical jump. He said he had 6'1", 300 pounds, and a 32-inch arm length. Then you look at Larell Murchison. He had a 5.0540, he had 29 bench press reps, he had a 29 vertical jump, standing at 6'2", 297 pounds, and 32-inch arms. That was intriguing to me. And then you begin to look at the film, right? So we have nearly identical 40-yard dashes, nearly identical bench press, nearly identical vertical jump, and then also close when it comes to height and weight. And then you begin to look at the film, and you do see a little bit of a mini Jurrell Casey here in Larell Murchison. Okay, Lil Jurrell turns into Larell Murchison, right? I mean, it's a beautiful thing. So we look at Larell Murchison here. High effort, man. This guy gives 100% effort. And the biggest problem with him that Scott's going to tell you, and I agree, he doesn't have a great burst off of the line of scrimmage, right? But he gives outstanding effort, okay? Play in, play out. Look at the effort that he displays despite not having the best of bursts off the line of scrimmage. He's a high-effort guy. He's a guy that transferred from JUCO to NC State. He gives it his all each and every play. Look at him coming up from behind, making a play on the running back here. High-effort guy out of NC State. And you look at the measures again, comparing to Jurrell Casey, and the guy produced this year for NC State. That's what I love. 7 sacks at the 3 technique for NC State. And look at their defensive line. This is a true 3 defensive line, 3-4 system that the NC State, whatever mascot they are, Wolfpack, are running here, where he has, a lot of the times, he's going up against double teams. He's on his own. He's having to work through either the right tackle and the right guard, or at least just the right tackle. And even the left tackle, left tackle and left guard, but he's consistently providing effort, having an extra motor to him, and he has his nice guitar celebration as well, which I think we're going to be seeing on Sundays. And we were talking about the 5th round. This is the type of gem that you want to find. High-effort guys that a lot of people are sleeping on because they may not quite have the measurables that people are looking for in terms of that outstanding athleticism. In the 5th round, you want high-effort guys. Look at some more highlights here. Now, he's going up against West Virginia here, and you're going to see the double teams that he's facing on the left side of this offensive line, but still providing effort there. Getting back into the play, love to see that. Here we go again, going up against the left tackle, and you see the slow burst there, right? He had no chance in that play of making an impact in that play, but still showing the effort regardless. Okay, here, this play, he's actually going to get to the quarterback, fighting past the left tackle, fighting past the left guard, forcing an early pass for the quarterback. The quarterback made a great throw there to still make it on point. And then here going up against the right side of the offensive line, and then still able to make a play on the running back, shutting the block ultimately and getting the run stuff. So this is what you can simply see on tape from Larell Murchison. But again, he got double-teamed a lot in 2019, especially in this West Virginia game. So if you ever look at the tape and you're going to notice how often he's getting double teamed, how often teams on the opposing side are attributing resources in order to stop him. And I think that's a testament to how talented he actually is. Now, just imagine him playing with Jeffrey Simmons. Imagine him playing with Daquan Jones. Maybe even Jadeveon Clowney. And imagine if we still had Jarrell Casey here. Then you're talking about Larell Murchison really being able to come in and make more of an impact. I mean, you're going to see him kind of be that Carl Klug for us. I mean, I think we've needed a Carl Klug-like guy on this defensive line for a number of years now, pretty much since Carl Klug left. So if this guy can come in and just provide a number of sacks for us, I'd love to see it. Now, is he going to be a starter? I don't know about that, but I won't completely sleep on that either. I mean, right now we're scheduled to start Jack Crawford from the Atlanta Falcons on the defensive line, and you guys know how I feel about that. I'm not very happy about that at all. So if he can get involved in the discussion for the starting job, I'd love to see it. I think there's a lot to like about him in terms of his motor and his effort again, and I know he's going to put in the best work that he can, so I'm excited for Larell Murchison actually. So with that said, we move on to Cole Mcdonald. Okay, so Cole Mcdonald had a farm. Now, there's a lot to like about Cole Mcdonald, and here it is. Okay, this is a great highlight play by Cole Mcdonald right here. Now, a lot of people question his arm strength. I don't question his arm strength necessarily as maybe his arm velocity, because here, look, where does he launch his pass? Launches it from around the 25-yard line, steps into it a little bit, gets into the opposing 30. So his arm is okay. I mean, it's definitely below average for NFL standards, and his throw velocity was 49 miles per hour, which put him in the second percentile, which is pretty awful. In fact, that's dreadful. But he's able to make some NFL throws. Like, this is an NFL throw. Make no doubt about it. Now, can he do this consistently? Yeah, probably not. But whenever he's able to step into the pocket, you're able to see him make these deep throws. So whenever people reference that, you can reference his play and say, well, wait a minute. He can make the occasional big-time throw. This was a great throw by Cole Mcdonald. Now, Cole Mcdonald had an arm, but I don't know where it went. Because on the next series of plays in the goal line, this is where you start to see the struggles of Cole Mcdonald. So he does a great job of extending the play. And he has terrific legs, terrific mobility, a chance to really throw a touchdown here and overshot his receiver. So despite not having great arm strength, overshot his receiver there in the back of the end zone. That could have easily been a touchdown, especially if you would have identified him earlier. This was just an awful throw on second down there. Easily, if you could hit him more outside, that should be a touchdown, at the very least a catch. That should put them at the 2-yard line. Third and goal again. Another awful throw by Cole Mcdonald. And they're running pretty much the same series of plays here for 3 downs, for second, third, and fourth down. And he can't connect on one of these out routes. Now, why they're calling 3 out routes consecutively, I don't really understand. At least maybe the third and goal actually looked more like a fade, like a potential fade by the running back. But I guess Cole Mcdonald just rushed the pass a little bit and just actually threw it as if it was an out pass. Let's look at this play again. So this second and goal. Yeah, this was definitely an out, but if you look at the third and goal, this may have actually been intended to be an up and like a fade route by this wide receiver, but he threw it as if it was that was supposed to be a fade, but he threw it as if it was an out route by the wide receiver, so that was just a bad throw by Cole Mcdonald. So a complete collapse here by Cole Mcdonald in the Mountain West Championship game. I mean, this is Hawaii versus Boise State. This is the biggest game of Cole Mcdonald's entire life and his entire career, and he chokes in the red zone here. Then we look at this next series of plays, and this is what you like to see, actually. Extending the play, a little late to this throw, but kept it low enough, and the receiver did not get the foot down. It was out of bounds. But that's some nice nobility that he showed there, some nice potential that he showed there. And then here we go with Cole Mcdonald. Okay, now that was a throw that he just lofted up there, did not have the arm strength, did not have the velocity on the throw, just lofted up there. But here, he threw this one on a rope. That's what you like, the potential there, and then followed us up with, again, I'm just going to kind of throw it up. Doesn't step into that throw. The arm strength isn't good enough. The wide receiver has to stop, turn around, turn to his right, and isn't able to make the catch. So there are some things to like with Cole Mcdonald, mainly his athleticism, as he ran a 4.5840, which was easily in the 90th percentile. I think it was actually like 95th or 96th percentile. It was very high. I don't have the numbers in front of me right now. And then he has a great burst score as well. So his athleticism is off the charts in terms of being able to run. His passing needs work, okay? And that's without a doubt. But that's why you take him in the 7th round. Now, were there better quarterbacks to take him in the 7th round? I do believe so, but hey, you know what? It's just a flyer, whatever. I just don't want to hear anyone saying, well, this could be we could potentially groom Cole Mcdonald. No, I see plenty from Cole Mcdonald for me to say, nah, we good. Cole McDonald will never start for this team. Can even be a backup. To be honest with you, I don't think he's even going to be a backup in this league. I think if he's your backup, I think you're kind of in trouble because of these throws that I'm seeing here. I don't think he has the real field awareness and consistency to be an NFL quarterback, maybe a third string at best, but I'd rather call Alex Taney. So with that said, the last pick of the draft was actually Chris Jackson out of Marshall. I don't know nothing about him. I literally pull up his NFL.com draft profile. I can't find anything. Nothing. I've picked up little tea leaves, little things, little people on Twitter saying, well, I watched this one game of him. I watched this one Marshall game. And I was able to find some Marshall games, and I watched a little bit of him, and he looked okay. But I just don't have enough on him in terms of being able to really give you a good evaluation of him. But if I can, and if he ends up making an impact, then we'll discuss him a lot more later. So now let's get into my draft grades. So what are my actual draft grades for this class? So let's start with Isaiah Wilson. I give it a B, okay? I think it was a good pick, or at least I'll say a decent pick. To me, a B is decent. Decent, not bad. Is it good? You could have done better. It's decent, right? A B is decent. B plus is good. B plus is good. So Isaiah Wilson was a B. You know, it was all right. It was decent. It was a decent pick. We'll take it. The second round, Christian Fulton, that's an A without a doubt. I'm not going to give it A plus because I don't think he's going to be a Pro Bowler. Maybe a year he might be a Pro Bowler. I don't think he's going to be a consistent Pro Bowler or anything like that. So no A plus, but it's an A. For you to get a starter and a good starter eventually in the second round, I think that's an A. Third round, Darington Evans, it's a B minus for me. I just don't see it. I'm sorry. I wish I did. Again, he definitely moved the pile for Appalachian State. He definitely helped them, but I just don't know how he fits into this picture. And with Derrick Henry, even if Derrick Henry isn't here, I just don't see him potentially being a real impactful NFL running back. Like, why is he so much better than picking up Isaiah Crowell? Why is he so much better than picking up Chris Thompson? These are running backs that are on the street. Now he's younger. I like that he has something in terms of the return game. But he doesn't offer anything in terms of the receiving game right now. Only 21 catches in the past year. Only 300 receiving yards his entire career. I'm just not buying this talk that he's a good receiving back. And all of those catches were nothing but flats, nothing but screens, nothing but the most basic of catches. We needed a receiving back and we didn't get it. And then we look at the fifth round, Larell Murchison. I give it a B+. And I wanted to go A. I can't quite go A or A minus, but it can certainly end up being that. I think he's going to make an impact. And when you look at our history of selecting defensive linemen, you know, we've taken in Austin Johnson. You know, we've taken, what was the guy from Auburn again? That I'm trying to remember his name. Ended up going to the Texans. Can't remember his name right now. We've taken some very, very, very underwhelming defensive linemen in recent history. Oh my God, remember Mike Martin, that's another name. Very underwhelming. I hope he won't end up being on that list of very underwhelming. And I think if you had to ask me of any recent picks so far in terms of being a defensive lineman, I like this one the most in terms of the value. And then 7, Cole Mcdonald had a farm, C+. You know, whatever. I know it's the 7th round, so I shouldn't be too critical. He kind of stinks, just to be honest with you. And look, he threw for like 30-something touchdowns this year. Had a lot of interceptions, too. Had one of the higher turnover marks in the entire collegiate league. So, you know, problems with Cole Mcdonald for me. I have to give it a C+, but I don't put much bearing on the 7th round grade anyway. So the overall grade is a B. It was all right. Okay, it was a decent draft class for us. You know, ultimately, there is a chance where, and pretty a strong chance to me, actually, when we look back, and the only two things we got out of this draft class were Isaiah Wilson and Christian Fulton. And if Isaiah Wilson doesn't stay with the team, then just Christian Fulton. I mean, there's a high probability of that. And then maybe Larell Murchison is still around as a backup for us. I don't know anything about Chris Jackson, so I won't speak on Chris Jackson. Darington Evans, I don't know. This is where a lot of us are going to disagree. I like the athleticism. I like the 4.41 40-yard dash. I like the 37-inch vertical jump. I like the broad jump, all that athleticism. I just didn't see that pop. I didn't see him having like an incredible balance out there. I didn't see him really just impressing me, wowing me, and I need to see that because there are just so many running backs out of the draft. Remember Bishop Sankey, remember David Cobb, remember all these running backs that look great in college. They all look great in college. If you're not showing some extra pizzazz for me, I'm just going to say you look like another good college running back, but how would it translate to the NFL? We'll see. Okay, and again, it's this fit with Derrick Henry that really bothers me, but we'll see ultimately. So with that said, that's going to do it for me as we recap the Tennessee Titans 2020 NFL Draft. I give it a B. What do you give it? Comment down below. I want to know. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, and most importantly, to subscribe. And until next time, this has been MJ of Sports Fan Entertainment, and I'm out. See you all later.